Hello, one and all. This is my view of My Hero Academia, Chapter 371, together with Shoji. And in my last video, I went on quite a long rant about how I thought this entire arc wasn't really all that well earned, because while we have seen a few small instances of discrimination against heteromorphs throughout this series, it wasn't really enough to justify 15,000 people marching through the streets to, burn down a freaking hospital. That's just stupid. That's just so overwhelmingly stupid. And I still stand by those thoughts, for the most part. But I am still enjoying this battle right here, Shoji versus Spinner, because it fits so well into this arc, it fits so well into the story that anybody can be a hero, even someone with a backstory of a villain, because seriously, based off Shoji's backstory, he 100% should have been a villain. He should have been where Spinner is right now. He should have been fighting with the heteromorphs to go, burn down this hospital, as stupid as that may be as a solution to end discrimination. I mean, seriously, this dude grew up in a small town in the boonies where nobody, not even his own family, looked like him, and whenever he touched someone, the whole town got together for a blood cleansing, which seems to involve beating this little boy within an inch of his life. That's nice. That's so nice. And just to make things so much overwhelmingly worse, something I realized when I was reading this chapter is that when Shoji saves his little girl, he has no scars on his face. And yet in the flashback, the blood cleansing seems to take place around the same time, with him being around the same age, which means that there is a very good chance that the reason why this town got together to beat up this child is because he had the gall to save a little girl, to save one of their daughters, and they were afraid that by him saving her life, he tainted her with his evil mutant blood and would end up turning her into a mutant as well, or his touch would somehow force her future children to be born as mutants. Oh no. And that is just sad. That is so overwhelmingly, terrifyingly sad. And if that was my backstory, if I went through that, I can promise you, I would not grow up to be a hero. I would be a villain. 100%. I'd be trying to burn down this whole freaking city. I am not that good of a person. And Shoji is just so much better than me. Because even after all that, the reason why he wears a mask isn't because he's ashamed of his past, but because he doesn't want people to think that he's out for revenge. He's out to, beat up a whole bunch of non-heteromorphs because of the way he was treated as a child. He wants to be a hero. He wants to set a good example. He wants to make people happy. He wants to save all little girls who fall in rivers. And it's just, God above. You are a good man, Shoji. You are such a good man. And I applaud you. And I so wish we'd seen more of this, throughout the entirety of this series. Seriously, Shoji, with a backstory like that, you deserve to be, in the top 3, top 5 in UA. You are that freaking amazing, and I love you. But anyway, though, then on the other side, we have Spinner. And in my last video, I theorized that Spinner was never really, bullied or discriminated against because of his appearance, but I didn't really have a whole lot to back that up. But when I was editing that video, I stumbled across this piece of media right here, which claims that Spinner is in fact the least reptilian member of his entire family. So unlike Shoji, Spinner, grew up surrounded by people who looked just like him. They didn't discriminate against him, they didn't hate him, they didn't, bully him, beat him, or perform, purifying blood cleansings whenever he touched anybody. He grew up in a fairly happy, healthy life. His biggest complaint was probably the fact that he was just, so overwhelmingly weak. Seriously, Spinner's backstory is closer to Deku's than it is to Shoji's, and he straight up does not care about discrimination. He actually says here, don't care. I mean, part of that is certainly a result of All For One giving him way too many quirks, but also, he just doesn't care. He truly does not care. And yet he's trying to be, the voice of his people for some reason. Well, the reason is mainly that All For One told him to be the voice of his people. Oh, Spinner, you make me sad. You make me very sad. Though in a different way than Shoji makes me sad. Interesting. And there's something so utterly ironic about Spinner's second and third quirk turning him into even more mutant, turning him into even more of a monster. I mean, last chapter, someone shouted out, "Do you ever wish you didn't have your quirk? You don't know what it's like." Spinner has the option to not have his quirk. All For One has the option to take his mutant quirk away from him and make him turn human, but he didn't ask for that. He never once asked for that because, he never really cared about his own appearance, and now he's becoming even more of a monster as part of his goal to save Shigaraki. somehow. It's not a well thought out plan on his part, though like I said before, he is almost certainly brain dead by this point. Oh, and just, oh my god, Spinner's last line in this chapter, when he saw Shoji's weird, twisted octopus arm, he said, "Gross." So yeah, Spinner, the voice of his people, is now discriminating against one of his people for his appearance. Spinner, you are a very, very bad symbol of, equality. Oh, I love it, I love it. A few other things I will mention in this chapter. Apparently, Shigaraki is a League of Legends player, which, yeah, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, I haven't actually played much of League of Legends. I don't know much about it. From what I've heard, though, the community around it is rather toxic, which certainly fits the kind of game that, Spinner and Shigaraki would end up playing. And also, we get to see the return of Spinner's giant, multi-bladed sword. Yeah, actually another thing I saw when I was looking up information on Spinner for my last video was the fact that Spinner's sword was so hard to draw that Horikoshi's editor demanded that he break it within like 2 chapters. But hopefully now Horikoshi has the manpower he needs to actually draw this giant thing in all its amazing beauty. Seriously, there's no point to this. Why do you have a sword made up of smaller swords? It is so stupid. Oh, but I love it. I really do love it. Oh, and also, we actually got a good meta moment in this chapter, which was, certainly unexpected. He went out of his way to apologize to Shoji for calling him an octopus. I mean, it's small. It is certainly small. But, Minetta's level is so far down below that even the smallest good thing he does is deserving of praise. Good for you, Minetta. Good for you. Also, do just love everybody looping diving into Shoji to give him this great big hug and to say, we'll make a million happy memories together, buddy. We'll be together forever, which, really, really nice. But honestly, that is a death flag right there. That is a huge freaking death flag right there. If they promise they'll make a whole bunch of good memories down the road, that's basically saying that Shoji is going to die, which, I mean, unexpected. I don't really know how they make that work, but it's certainly something I'm worried about right now. Oh, right, I almost forgot to mention this. When Shoji is talking to Minetta, he comments about the heroes who look like villains rankings. And that is, oh, God above, that is worrying. That is so worrying. I mean, I didn't really pay much attention. It was mentioned, I think, back during the hero licensing exam when they were facing off against Gang Orca, who was ranked 3rd. But that is bad. That is so bad. I mean, seriously. Heroes who look like villains. They're basically saying, okay, this is what villains look like. They look like Gang Orca. They look like Ectoplasm. They are, mutant-type quirk users. It's basically saying this is, the symbol of a villain. This is what villains look like. They look like mutants. So therefore, all mutants are villains. That's bad. That is so bad. I mean, like I said at the start of the video, I don't really think this whole discrimination thing has been all that well foreshadowed, but there are some bits and pieces there which, when you think about more deeply, are just so concerning. But anyway, though, then at the end of the chapter, Kota, so angry and enraged about what people are saying about Shoji, manages to go plus ultra as the giant horn on his head seems to sprout open like a flower, and he's suddenly able to summon several thousand birds and bats and whatever to attack the protesters. Neat! Good for you! I mean, it's actually something we saw slowly throughout this chapter. Every time we saw Kota's head was like growing or sprouting or shaking a little bit, so that's cool. I'm guessing this is allowing him to basically, increase his antenna size to reach more animals at the same time, which, if so, that's absolutely amazing. I'd love to see that. And we saw, back in his battle against Present Mike a very long time ago, that if Kota really puts the effort into it, he's able to summon insects as well, and that could be very useful right here as well. Seriously. Just like an army of 1,000,000 ants and spiders and cockroaches and everything crawling out of the ground and attacking the protesters. Oh, that'd be fun. I mean, seriously, Kota might actually be one of the best heroes for crowd management on a crowd this freaking large and insane. But anyway, though, please let me know what you think down below. What is the deal with Kota's new evolution? What can he do with it now? What exactly is Shoji going to do in this fight? I mean, is he going to win against Spinner? Is he going to lose? Is he going to die? I mean, Spinner is, like I said before, like I said many times, Spinner is completely and utterly brain dead at this point, so I don't really know how exactly Shoji would be able to reach him because, All For One literally broke his freaking brain, so is his only option just to kill Spinner? I mean, I'm not sure about that. We still have Stain! Seriously, where the freak is Stain? I mean, I feel like he's either going to appear here or in the other battle with, Dabi and Shoto and Ingenium, simply because I want to see, Stain and Ingenium reunite. That'd be so amazing. But here, Stain, the actual person who inspired Spinner, essentially his All Might, showing up and telling him, you're being an idiot, stop doing that. That might be enough. That might be enough to break through his mind and convince him, okay, you know what? I might be in the wrong here. I may have made some poor decisions. Oh, I would love that. I would so love that. But anyway, though, until next time, peace!